So I'm in the city of Liege. There's a museum of transport in this wonderful city. And it's right here, guys. Take a look at this. Wow. This is an interesting public bus, guys. Yeah, damn public transport. The wheels used to be very big. When it comes to Europe, guys, here in Europe, public transport has become a very, very big deal, and it always was for many decades, even the decades since the World Wars, guys. Now, the reason being that it's because the roads here are not like America. They're not very big, guys. Let's check it out inside. Whoa. Sweet 1970s. This is from 1971, by the way, guys. But for standards of the 1970s, something about this bus feels a bit ahead of its time, guys. I guess this was... yeah. Sweet. Over here is a Mercedes bus. Not surprising, guys. There's always got to be a Mercedes in the public transport. In fact, to this day, Mercedes is one of the top choices for public transports across Belgium. I noticed this in Liege, and I also noticed this in Brussels. They still continue to be very popular choices, guys. Very interesting. Yeah. Definitely interesting. Particular Mercedes bus is from the 1950s, but one thing you all need to know about Mercedes buses is that they were often modified trucks, guys. If you look carefully at this section right here, the entire front was actually intended for a truck, but Mercedes basically converted it into a bus, and it's all pointed out by this rubber right here. Well, what looks like a welding work. This looks like a Ford maintenance vehicle, guys. It's a Ford truck. Quite interesting what's going on right here. It's from the 1930s, apparently. Sweet 1930s. Believe it or not, this was from year 1932, guys. The most interesting bus I've ever seen for the 1930s. Did these guys actually live in the future or something? And believe it or not, this is Belgian, guys. How did these guys come up with this in the 1930s? I would like, you know, the most common stereotype of the 1930s we think of is something like that Ford right there, guys. But look at this bus. It's so modernized for the 1930s. I mean, yes, of course, if you look at the interior, it's still old school and everything, but like the idea of having this sort of format, this is already like way ahead of everybody in some senses. Wow. Wow. Another thing to notice is the electric connections. This had electric connections, guys. Wow. Okay, guys, here is a trolley bus, guys, and this particular one has the electric connections. If you see above. It's interesting. And they say reversible. So I'm assuming the front also has a steering wheel. And the back as well also has a steering wheel. There we go, see? Both sides would have a steering wheel. How interesting is that? Good old Ford. Nice V8 engine it would have. Aha, now over here is something quite interesting, guys. This is a Leyland. Something British, guys. Now, the first evidence that already proves that this is a Leyland is this little hubcap over the bolts. Now, I know Leyland and British truck manufacturers, they always have this sort of wheel for some reason. I noticed this on Erf and Wandelen. Time to climb in. There we go. Interior of the Leyland. Good old Leyland. The Mercedes bus, guys. Front design is also just as interesting because it kind of reminds me of what today a Neoplan has been doing. Neoplan has had this, has been employing a sort of design like this lately. Certain bus manufacturers as well. And this is from 1963, guys. This Mercedes bus. 1963. Alright. Ooh. Lovely interior. Smell of the 60s. Oh, check this out, guys. Little Citroën 2 chevaux for maintenance. I think it was supposed to be the staff vehicle of that time. Yeah, most common choice. Good old fourgonnette Renault 4, everyone. Very interesting. Oh, yep. They always had the transmission right above over there. I know Citroën and Renault, they always had 3 bolts for their small vehicles. Alrighty, guys, so over here is a VanHool. Now, VanHool is very interesting because they specialized in building public transport in buses. They also build trailers for trucks. Now, it's very interesting what's going on because in the 2000s, they used to still be a big deal. They used to be very present in Brussels. But now, it seems like VanHool kind of lost the title for public transport because when you go to Brussels, you'll often see Volvo, Mercedes, or Iveco buses. You don't really see VanHools anymore. Yep. The interior of the VanHool bus, everyone. Oh, yes. I remember this. Yes, I remember in the VanHool buses in Brussels, there used to be always this orange box where you have to check in your ticket. At least that's the system that used to exist in Brussels, guys. I remember this. I remember as a kid we used to use the public transport a lot and there was always an orange box. I don't know if the box was orange because of the company or if it was orange because this is the standard for the bus. Yeah. Yeah, I remember those rear lights perfectly well, guys. VanHool rear lights were always like this, just a row of rectangles. That's basically what they were. Over here is a good old Unimog. Yes, a Unimog that was used by the public transport company for maintenance purposes, and judging by its nature, I'm assuming it was used for the railways. For the trams, guys. In fact, to this day, they still use the Unimogs for these purposes. The new versions, guys. So it's very interesting. Now, there's also another interesting aspect about... Now, there's also something else that's cool about this Unimog. The axles do not connect directly with the wheel. The axles connect with something just right above, and that in turn powers the wheels, guys, which gives this Unimog additional ground clearance. The wheels that Unimog still uses to this day, guys. To this day, Mercedes Unimogs are exactly like this on the wheel. 6 bolts, simple design. And the rear gets even more interesting, guys. Just look at what's going on right here. This is what I'm talking about, guys. The axle doesn't go to the center of the wheel. It goes directly above. And then in turn, it powers the wheels. Another VanHool bus right here, guys. This is another sign of good visibility outside. Really good. However, judging by the air intake down there, I'm assuming the engine's at the front, because look at the elevation right here. Nice wheels of the VanHool bus. These sort of wheels are quite interesting. They remind me of what I usually see of heavy-duty utility trucks. Alright everyone, great experience inside, great museum. It was cool, it was a good experience, guys.